I seem to be at that age where I tend to think about what I want to play or want to watch more than actually watching or playing things, which is why when a piece of media comes along that actually makes me want to give it my attention, I generally become very enthralled in it. The game that's made me do this most recently is an early access game on Steam called Valheim. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard of this game by now. It has been blowing up all over Twitter and Twitch within the last month, and with good reason, because it's taken a formula that's been very familiar to us within the last couple of years and gives an entirely new spin on it. It's a procedurally generated open-world survival sandbox game. Now, I know that sounds like tons of other games that have released within the last decade, but there's a lot that this game does to really make it stand on its own. When my friends asked how I would describe the game, the best way I felt to put it was almost as if you took Minecraft, Animal Crossing, and Breath of the Wild, combined all of them, and threw a Viking aesthetic over all of it. Which, as someone who loves those three games, and absolutely adores Vinland Saga, this type of game was right up my alley from the start. The reason I say it's like Minecraft is because there's a heavy emphasis on building bases, and then you also go and gather resources to make tools and equipment. Which again, I know that's in almost every other survival sandbox game, but Minecraft's the game that really popularized it within the last decade. The reason I say it's like Animal Crossing is because of the crafting system, where once you pick up an item or build something new, it then unlocks even more items for you to craft and play around with. There's also a lot of base customization available that scratches the same itch as decorating your home in Animal Crossing. The developers are on record saying they took a lot of inspiration from Breath of the Wild, which is clear from the visuals and how the open world is designed. Not only is it huge, but there's actual content to engage with in the world, which really creates incentive for the player to go out and explore, which is far more that can be said than a lot of RPGs that have been releasing within the last couple of years. And it's all topped off with combat that's very reminiscent to that of the Dark Souls games. Each enemy has specific attack patterns that you must memorize, and once you do, you just wait for them to swing and miss, and then you punish them. Another thing taken from Minecraft and Dark Souls is that when the player dies, all of their loot and items drop where they died, and they have to go back and retrieve them, which always creates tension whenever the player is exploring new areas far away from their home. Another really interesting aspect of this game is the art style that it goes for. All of the textures look like they've been ripped off of a PlayStation 1, but yet the lighting and shading of the game is absolutely breathtaking. It's also very similar to those other games mentioned before, in the sense that it doesn't go for realistic graphics, but more stylistic ones. Essentially, I think it's the type of game where we'll be able to look at it in 10 years and still say that it holds up visually. The crazy thing about this game is that it was made by only 5 people at Iron Gate Studios. Something sick I found when looking into the developers is that they recommend listening to this Swedish death metal band, which, forgive me if I butcher their name, but they're called Amon Amarth, which I just went and listened to their most popular songs on Spotify, and let me tell you guys, I fully intend to stream this music the next time I play this game. But let me give my personal experience with this game before getting back into what makes it so goddamn good. I actually remember seeing this game the day it came out on the front page of Steam. I clicked on it, looked through it, and I was like, this game actually looks sick as fuck. I kinda wanna buy this. But then I scrolled down and saw the early access logo. And we all know how early access has been on Steam within the last couple of years. It started off as this awesome premise where you would get to play the game a little bit early while giving the developers the financial support they needed to finish the game. Now there's a negative stigma around them that they usually end up broken and unfinished, and the developers will usually just walk away if it's not profitable enough. Which this idea definitely seems to be in decline as of recent, where developers seem to be getting it together a little bit better. But the fact that that possibility is always there makes me and many other people still very hesitant about the whole early access thing. Which really makes me glad to say Valheim is one of the few early access games that I would actually recommend purchasing right now. The amount of content and things to do in the world, as well as just how vast and expansive the world is honestly on par with most $60 games that are released by AAA studios. Plus, it's only $20! And keep in mind, it's 5 dudes making this game. They have extensive plans to continue adding to the game, which is shocking because what's already there already could be its own game. I've only owned it for about 2 to 3 days now, but I already have like 15 some hours on it. Which might not sound like much, but as someone who struggles to play video games for more than like an hour these days, that's pretty goddamn good by my books. Like, I went to one of my classes today, and the entire time all I could think about was how I was gonna go home and play more Valheim. Which is something I don't think I've genuinely felt since like Black Ops 3. And I think the reason I'm becoming so obsessed with this game is because of the aspect that it does the best. The progression. The game actually starts very similarly to how Dark Souls 1 begins, with a giant bird carrying you through the sky to a strange land. When you drop down, there's these 5 headstones surrounding the player. There are currently 5 bosses in the game that the player must go and kill to retrieve their trophy. They must bring this trophy back to these headstones to upgrade their character. For example, the first boss's trophy makes it so that the player's sprinting and jump takes 60% less of their stamina, which obviously makes it easier for the player to progress on to the next boss. Each boss is located in entirely different sections of the map. Each biome has new resources, enemies, and dungeons to explore, all of which goes to making better tools, better armor, better food, and new technologies. These upgrades that the player must earn make the player feel that each time they go to a new biome, they're making significant progress. This can be seen in the combat of the game, where at the start of the game, if the player tries to fight a skeleton, there's a good chance they're gonna get their shit rocked. But once you get a spear and go back, suddenly they go from a massive threat to becoming a 3-shot. It's progression like this that can be seen and felt that truly makes the player feel as if their time that they're investing in the game is worth something. Because not only will you get armor that looks cooler, you'll get armor and tools that actually make the game easier for you as you go on. I genuinely believe the strong sense of progression is why I've been having so much fun with this game. On top of all of that, I really do think it would be criminal to not mention how sick the soundtrack to this game is. It's just another aspect that helps immerse you into the world, and it also makes clear that every nook and cranny of this game has been made purely from passion. There's also a bunch of runestones scattered throughout the map that contain pieces of lore about Valheim, which is nice for those who want to get even further immersed, but yet it could be ignored if for some reason desired. It's all of these aspects that have been taken and refined from its predecessors that go into making Valheim such a satisfying experience. And that is why Valheim is so awesome. It's because of all of this that I genuinely feel confident in telling all of you that if you've been on the fence about getting Valheim, you should just pull the trigger and buy it. Because if you think that it's the type of game that you would be interested in, more than likely it is. But anyways guys, that's really all I have to say about this amazing game. When I first played it, I just knew it was gonna be one of those things that was gonna be consuming a lot of my thoughts. So I figured I might as well take those thoughts, organize them, and actually make some content out of it. But anyways guys, I'm not gonna waste your time anymore. If you made it this far in the video, you already know I love you. I hope you have a great day. I love you all. And take care.